recognize the final member of our panel here this morning. The chair notices a young man in the audience with a similar tie to Mr. Ciscomani. Mr. Ciscomani, do you have a guest here?
I do. My son, Kenny, he's here joining us. I already told press that he's not available for questions just yet, but he will be at some point.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Administrator Rocheleau, for being here with us today. I first want to ask about an issue that is top of mind for many airports around the country, including Tucson International Airport in southern Arizona, and that is regarding PFAS remediation. In my district, the presence of PFAS is a major public health threat. The FAA has previously mandated the use of PFAS-containing foams for commercial airports, and while many airports like Tucson International Airport are now transitioning to foams that do not contain PFAS, they're still burdened with the cost of remediation for previously used foams. How does your agency plan to assist commercial airports in these critical remediation efforts?
Thank you for the question. Tucson has a special place. It was my first assignment as a second lieutenant in the Air Force, and so I'm familiar with the airport and the importance of it. With respect to PFAS and the mitigations there, I actually connected with my airport's office yesterday, and I understand we have ongoing dialogue with how we're going to manage through that. I know that there was an authorization to further mitigate the PFAS that we're talking about, not just at Tucson, but in other locations. I know that an appropriation will be particularly critical to being able to move forward on some of those mitigations, but I also know that the work that we're doing specific to Tucson, but in addition to that, a few other airports, that the plan to mitigate that is ongoing with respect to ensuring that the airports have the information they need to follow that up when the funding appears.
Yeah, and I think that's critical. So I'll certainly advocate for you all to receive the funds that are needed to clean up PFAS in our community without creating the undue burden on the airports themselves that already have limited budgets, as you know. So I appreciate your attention on this critical issue. Next, I'd like to highlight a key facility in my district, Pinal Air Park. If you've been in southern Arizona, you probably are familiar with Pinal Air Park. This general aviation and military facility, originally known as the Marana Army Airfield, is notably where more than 10,000 pilots trained during World War II. Today, the air park supports a mix of military and commercial aviation activities with over 100,000 flight operations annually. Pinal Air Park is among the busiest multi-use airports in the nation, operating without an air traffic control tower. Last year, Congress passed the FAA reauthorization bill with a provision prioritizing the construction of air traffic control towers that support safety at multi-use airports. Pinal Air Park fits this description perfectly and was recently accepted as a candidate for the FAA Contract Tower Program. Can I have your agency's commitment to fully consider Pinal Air Park as a candidate for a new tower under this program?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Thank you. That's critical here for us. On the air traffic control tower at Pinal Air Park is greatly needed, and I look forward to working with you to make that tower a reality. Here with the last minute or so that I have, I want to ask about something that you touched on in your testimony, and some of my colleagues have mentioned as well, is the air traffic control tower staffing side of it as well. What specific steps is the FAA taking to ensure adequate staffing levels at critical facilities across the country on that matter?
No, I can't emphasize enough the importance of making sure that under the Secretary's leadership that we do in fact realize the supercharge effort that the goal that we're attempting. So right now we're focused on making sure that we get up to 2,500 through Oklahoma City, as well as through our enhanced CTI training schools, so the collegiate partnerships that we have. In addition to that, we're incentivizing people to come to the FAA and to go to tougher to staff locations with financial incentives. I think one of the things that's really going to help us in this effort, though, it's critical, is we're giving 20% to experienced controllers to stay per year, to stay on as certified controllers, whether that's in an operational role or as in a training role, to make sure that we have that bridge as we get healthy again in our controller staff. We're 3,000 down and we're working to make sure that within the next couple of years that we've got that back healthy.
Real quick here, what do you think the shortage? What's the reason for? I mean, it pays well. You know, high training. Now you have incentives to stay. Just real quick, what do you think highlights of
I think there were a variety of reasons. Part of it is, I'll just say advertising. We're trying to make sure people understand this is an exciting, very rewarding career field. I also think that the time to get people into the academy was too long. We were at a year and a half in some cases, and a 25-year-old's not going to wait around for a year and a half to get a job. They're going to go to something. So truncating the process and getting them into the school quicker, I think is going to help us.
Thank you, sir. We'd love to welcome you back to your old stomping grounds in
All right.
Tucson and have you there soon. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ciscomani. If it please the subcommittee, we're going to do one more round of just a single question. So be thinking about your question. But before I go to my last question, I'm going to recognize the overall chairman of the committee, once again, Mr. Cole, who has been gracious enough to sit through